everybody, and welcome to GenFriends. We don't have Dan making faces at us tonight, but we do have Eowyn here, and Dan keeps saying that he is the same person because they're never here at the same time. You guys may probably know Eowyn from Wiki. We're so glad that you're here, Eowyn.
Thank you. Excited to be here again.
And of course, I'm Cheri Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy, the host of GenFriends. Okay, get that out. And we've got, look who's back. Mary's back. Mary Kircher Roddy from Genealogy is back with us tonight. And Laura Hedgecock, Treasure Chest of Memories. Hey, Laura.
Hi, always good to be here.
And Laura is in wedding mode, so we are grateful
Big time.
She's here. Big time. Her son's getting ready to get married, so we're grateful she had a few minutes to
I'll have a daughter this time next week.
Yay. So sweet, so sweet. She's only got boys, so this is great. She's going to get a daughter. Well, day 9. How did we get to day 9? We just started with this season. How on earth did we get to day 9? But again, we'll see through day 9 that there were firsts for relative race. This has been a season of firsts.
A lot of firsts.
Yeah, a lot of firsts. So they started it out with showing us everybody that they met, which I thought was a nice little reminder of all the hugs and the love and the, everybody that they'd met. I loved that. I loved that. Just a little reminder. But remember that Team Black got their 3rd strike on day 8. And so they were able to get that mega family ticket, and they did it differently this time. Usually when they get like we just kind of see a few minutes, a little blip of, oh yeah, by the way, this team got to go meet this person, but they didn't. They might as well have just been running the race. They did the same thing, except
for the challenge.
They didn't do the challenge, and they didn't have any time, so they weren't having to rush. And so we did see part of their drive and them talking in the car about, I wonder who we're going to meet. And, I thought it was really special that we got that time with them, because they could have met anybody from either. And I feel like they bonded now. I feel more of a bond between the two of them. How about you guys?
Between Tia and Carolyn?
Yeah.
Between Tia and Carolyn. Yeah.
Kind of evened it out, I think. And with having no stress it's like no big deal. We're just together now.
Yeah. So
and they've seen each other's rawest moments.
Oh, haven't they? Sure. Yes.
So you do bond over things like that. Mm-hmm. But I remember that conversation too of who will it be, because it is odd for these stranger teams that when one meets a relative, the other one's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus the teams where you're there for your person. So
exactly. And I think though that they do understand that the reason probably is they couldn't have run the race by themselves. There wasn't enough relatives to meet.
Sure.
Have enough, or if they did have enough, they would just put them all in one day, because we've seen they put them all in one day. So, but I figured let's go ahead and start talking about them, and then we'll go ahead, Mary.
Well, I was just going to talk about kind of a little bit about geography, because with them and with Team Blue, they obviously probably paired those people up because they had relatives in the same
that's a good point.
Location.
Either that or none of those were their houses, and they just flew.
Except some of them did really look like they did not look like Airbnbs to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is jumping the gun, but if last night's house is a vacation place, I want to go there. I mean, even if it is someone's house, I still want to go there, but they probably won't invite me.
For Team Black.
Yes, but it was so gorgeous.
It was beautiful.
It's right on the beach.
Go through the forest and end up at the shore. Oh my gosh.
That's the Pacific Northwest.
I know Oregon coast is what Washington too, but Oregon coast is just
gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Just gorgeous. The ocean's a little cold for us East Coast beach people, but it's still beautiful. It's so beautiful. So let's go ahead and talk about who the relative was waiting for them. Anybody want to take over with that?
I loved it.
Go ahead, Eowyn.
Oh, I was just going to say, Tia was a hard one for me throughout the season, because it was just a lot of people were deceased, that she could have met. And I was just really happy for her to find someone who was like so excited to have her.
Oh,
and I I loved how she said, I have a new best friend for life.
Yes, for
And I was like,
life.
oh my gosh, I'm so happy
It's
for
her older
Tia.
sister. Yes, it was her
Yeah.
older sister.
And
And
I love
said,
that too, Eowyn, because the same thing. And even when Tia met her first sister, there was this, well, we should stay in touch. This
Yeah.
kind of this
Yeah.
veiled kind of thing.
Yeah.
And last night was, we're best friends
We're
for
best
life.
friends.
Exactly. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
and what a great moment they got to share with
Yes.
the ashes of all of those who had passed, and being able to just share
the
that.
grandparents, the brothers,
Grandparents, brothers,
and their mom, because there's their sisters on their mom's side.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because she was telling her that she had a good life growing up because she was raised by her aunt, and so she wasn't in the circumstances like their brothers were in. And so she felt like she had a really good life because her aunt raised her. Her aunt, and she'd say, my mom, my aunt. So she was calling her mom her aunt. So that was beautiful that they could. And I felt like for the first time really on the show, Tia kind of just really relaxed.
Yeah. You could tell she was comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Comfortable there.
Yeah, I thought that was gorgeous. I thought that was wonderful. And it was interesting that she had the ashes in the little tiny, though that's not all the ashes yet. Those are small little containers of ashes. So did she do that once she found out that Tia was coming to visit her and maybe get some out of whatever the rest of the ashes were in or something? I don't know, but that was
I imagine there's somebody that can do that as a service, because I've seen people that can get vials that you have just a little bit to be put in a coffin with someone else or what have you.
My daughter,
she said she kept them.
Yeah.
And she didn't know why she kept them.
Right.
But she kept them. So it did sound like that maybe she didn't just reach out to get them when she found out she was going to be.
And that could be. Yeah, this is true. This is true. But I was to Laura's point, my daughter lost a son, a baby, and she has a necklace that his little bit of his ashes are in. So you can do things like that she wears all the time. So there's lots of things that you can do. So that was just beautiful and special and relaxing for them. And like I said, I think Tia just really, just her face, her whole countenance, her whole being was just so much more relaxed than we've seen her. So I really appreciated that we were able to see this journey and see it come to an end. And I hope that they keep this mega pass.
Mega pass.
Because if they don't, all the fans are going to just get so upset. So, I don't think they have any.
So it's just, that means the way that they were doing that, because you couldn't really tell the season because they made it all the way to 9. If they had been kicked off at like episode 6, they still would have been able to go see all the rest of them. Okay, that's what I thought, bro.
I love that so much, because isn't that what we want to see? We want it's different. It's different from the golden ticket that they had given.
That was just one.
Yeah, this is a mega family ticket.
What they got on the Zoom call at the end.
Right at the end.
Yeah, and that was nice.
Special. That was
so they're not like totally they're disconnected only from the race part and not from the relative part.
Exactly.
That's how it should be, relative race. Just keep
exactly. That's exactly how it should be. That's exactly how it should be.
It's not just the viewers at home that wanted to see it. I mean, the teams have bonded.
Oh yeah.
And I'm delighted that she found a sister. So the other 6 people.
Absolutely. So relative race, we know, and we say this every week, we know you listen to us. Keep that.
Keep it, please.
Yeah, keep it, please. Keep it. That is a definite keeper. Let's talk a minute about that challenge. Like one of them, I think, who was it, John? Somebody described it as a cheese grater.
Yeah, it looked like a cheese grater.
Like a cheese grater. Yes. It was called the Maze Craze. And we could see, because remember, Team Red had come in first the day before, so they got the benefit of using both hands. They were like, what could that mean? But when they got there, they saw that what they had to do was, it was almost like, what is that, Plinko or something? Where it goes,
that's what I thought it was.
It was like a combination of that and the cheese grater, but they had to get the color thing up and into the hole that was the right color. but it would fall through at different times, but they had to pull with string. And so if you could use two hands, you could control it a little bit better.
Control a little better.
So Karen and Thaddeus got to control theirs just a little bit easier than, but that looked really hard, a little bit
It looked
frustrating.
hard. And then it wasn't even.
I'm sorry, Laura?
I said it looked hard. It looked like, you know, they weren't kind of enjoying it while they did it.
Oh no, I don't think
very tense.
Nobody was happy.
Well, too, is that they didn't want it to take so much time that they didn't make it to day 10, because we already knew that Team Blue was a shoo-in. You know, Team Blue knew that they were going to go to day 10. But the other two teams had 2 strikes. And so if they got a strike, they weren't going to make it. So that makes a hard game like that even more frustrating, because all you're thinking about probably is time. You know, how much time am I taking doing this? So, but they all held their cool.
Yeah, because that was one where you had to go slow. So not only was it like frustrating for time, but you had to make yourself
that was the only
way slow.
That was the only way you could control it, to get it all the way up to the top to get it in. And I liked how they all found a different technique to finally pop that thing in, you know? I thought that was really great.
Yeah.
I thought that was really great.
Fun.
So, yeah.
But I thought it was funny, Team Blue almost got it in the very first try.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They really did. That almost was a straight in. So yeah, I think that was quite an interesting. I wonder who came up with that one. That was quite interesting. Yeah. I could see fights going on. Not a good one for the family reunion book.
No, we're not putting that one in.
No, because I could
the editors say no.
The editors say no. I mean, it could be a suggestion, but I don't know how you would build that, you know, to have it outside. But maybe somebody could figure out a way to do that. But or a small version of it, maybe a table version.
Smaller.
Yeah, might work.
Oh, with an actual cheese grater.
Actual cheese grater. There we go.
You just have to move the Parmesan all the way to the
Parmesan to the top.
It has to be enough for a cracker when you're done.
All the way to the top. That is really funny. Guys, who do you even want to start with? Which team should we even start with? Does anybody have one they want to just go with first?
Well, I loved Team Blue and seeing, I mean, John, it's like constantly with him, there's just such a strong family resemblance with their relatives. It's like you see the person walk out, it's like brother.
Brother. I mean, exactly. And I think this brother looked even more like him than any of the other brothers.
Yeah.
I really thought that. Yeah, he looked even more like him. And he and what's his? I can't remember his name. I wrote it down. The redhead from the earlier. They were all brothers. Yeah.
Dylan.
Is it Dylan? Probably. You're better.
I didn't even bring my notes. I'm in wedding mode.
She's in wedding mode. What I thought was interesting though, and it seems like every year on Relative Race, other family members are helped by whomever is coming to their house. And in this was another case of that, because he said, I know, because they have the same mom. He says, I know nothing about my mom. Nothing. And I love that John just kind of, well, I think maybe I can help you with that. Come in. I was like, he felt so empowered that he knew something that could help his brother. I loved that so much, that he was able to say, well, my biological father has been looking for her. And you could see his brother go, oh. And then of course he had to explain to him that she wasn't in a good place and they hadn't found her yet. And then did you love the chart? Who loved the chart? Mary's
oh my gosh.
I know everything about the chart.
I actually want to just talk about just the growth in John, just to see, I mean, how he's changed. And I mean, we saw it over 9 weeks, but really over 9 days. So much. He's got so much confidence. The confidence, and and just even the way he carries himself.
Oh yeah,
it got rid of the sadness is gone, and he just.
I would agree with you, and I kind of get it, because I've been in that situation where something's just gonna bother you in your brain until you get to a point where, and then you can let go of it, but it can take forever. But what I really loved with him and his brother as it ended, it wasn't an ending. For most of the relatives,
his brother's name was Matt.
In touch. But
And
they're
his brother's name was Matt.
looking at the chart and they're so matter of fact, well, there's 3 that I don't know here. Well, there's
Yeah.
4 I don't know
There's
there.
Yeah.
12. John has 12 siblings.
Oh,
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
says, I know these, but I don't know these. And he says, so the story isn't ending here.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
got more. We've got
Figure
more.
it out. Yeah.
Figure it
And
out.
they're, yeah.
I can help.
And they can Eric can help. And they can do it together, which is so cool. You know, they can do it together, and that'll help them bond as well. So,
oh, for sure.
oh yeah,
I think it will help otherwise because you don't feel, I imagine this is me talking about something I don't know anything about, but you don't feel so much like I'm the odd person that no one's like me, because there's 11 people that are in your
That are
situation.
just like you.
yeah,
You know,
exactly. And the I'm gonna see if I can find if anybody took a photo of it, but to put in our post, but if it gets shared on social media or anything, but his John's face when he was hugging his brother, it was just that same with what, like I was talking about with Tia, just peaceful and just full of love,
Peaceful and calm and like
calm and grounded, and just I loved it. I loved his face.
and it was, like you said, the exact opposite as of, the first day when he's the one that doesn't know what's going on, and the other person is the kind of peaceful one.
Yeah.
The switch.
Yeah, it was wonderful. That was a beautiful, beautiful moment for him. And I'm so happy that he was able to go through this journey with Kentrell. I mean, they both had wonderful journeys, and they both found out the things that they needed to find out, even if there's more people to find in those 9 days, they were able to answer so many questions and fill so many holes. I'm so excited for both of them. And like we always say, so excited that they would share their journeys on the show, because these are hard. These are hard stories. These are hard things to talk about. So
it would be so hard to do on camera.
Oh my gosh.
Like I watched and it just makes me think about my experiences, and I just think, could I have done that on camera? No, the answer is no.
The answer is no. Okay, what about Thaddeus driving into Georgia, driving into that area of Georgia, saying, wait a minute, this street, I know this street because I've lived here for a little while, and there's no residential area. And then you could just, the look on his face. Oh, I wonder. Because
it was a realization that
because he'd been told. Yeah, that they were at a hospital. Yeah, Mary.
And I think they stayed in the car
a long time
for a while. They weren't excited to hop out of that car and see who was there.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't ready. He said, if this my biological mother, whom I've been told is in the hospital, is this the way I want to meet her?
Well, he really had no idea what condition she would be in, right? He just knew she was in a hospital, not like on her way to the other side, or, is she okay? Or
and here's my question about the hospital, because once they got up there and met her, she seemed to be okay. She was doing well. Was she really in that hospital, or had they moved her from one hospital to another? I would really like to know, because let me tell you, if that's the hospital she'd been in the whole time and he just moved to that town and was living down the street, that's like Twilight Zone going on, So I would really like to know, because I know that when my father was hospitalized, he was moved to 3 different hospitals. You can do that. So I don't know if that's where she had been the whole time, or if she was well enough that they were able to move her so that meeting could take place. I don't know.
Yeah, but it would be weird seeing how it's relative race if they moved her to a town that he's familiar with.
Well, I just don't know.
That would be weird.
Yeah, I just don't know. It just was interesting to me, and kind of, like I said, a little Twilight Zone-y. If he'd been living in the same town where his biological mother was in the hospital, that's amazing.
He had a few moments like that, though, hasn't he? Where there's just been, like, with the cousin. Was that last week, where the cousin had seen his message on Facebook?
Yeah,
so he had a few kind of like
exactly. So I mean, he was scared. You could tell, even just going up to the hospital. And you know what? He couldn't have done this without Karen. I don't think anybody else could have run this race with him. Have been on this race with him. He needed her support so much. I don't think that I mean, he just was hanging on to her as they were walking down that hallway and came into the room. And, you know, of course they had to have their masks on, but I thought it was really cute when he walks up and finally he goes, my name is Thaddeus. You know, and of course she said that she was his mom, and she says, please take that mask off so I can see your face. Yeah. So that was a sweet moment, a really sweet moment.
Yeah, she was, I think, you know, the drama going up into the hospital room and not knowing what to expect, and like how many machines and stuff.
And
like
really,
when
she
was sitting up and so cheerful, like, get over here.
You know, I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm recovering. I'm almost to the point where I can get out of here. You know, she was good. And so, and then again, his hug. I'm like, I hope somebody takes that snapshot and frames it for him, for the both of them. That look on his face was just incredible. And of course, then she had something for him. Wants to talk about what she had for him. She drew the drawing. Yeah. Go ahead.
Drawing.
Yeah. Go ahead. Eowyn, go ahead.
It was a really sweet drawing. It was good.
Beautiful.
I thought he's so artistic and creative.
Yes.
I thought it was cool.
Yes. And then remember that. Yeah, remember that he met his biological father the first day, and he had drawn a picture of him when he was a toddler.
Yeah. I know, we'll have these two pictures now.
Yes, cool. Exactly. It was a beautiful picture. And she said, my curly-haired baby, you know. So that was really sweet. But I just loved his face of that. Just, it was just, you know, peace. Basically, that's what I saw, just absolute peace in his face. And then they had another surprise for him. And
yeah, she went back, I guess, to her house
or somebody's house.
Yeah, and all his relatives were there. His brother and his grandmother, and everybody was there.
All the cousins and aunties, and they were all there. How fun was that? Big family party going on. I loved, though, when he was talking to Karen, and Karen was saying he's wanted this his whole life. He's found his answers, and now he's home. And somebody mentioned this on one of the Facebook posts. They said when he looked back at her, the look on his face said, you will always be home, Karen. You know, the look of love that he gave her was just, yeah. But you're my mom. You're my home. It was just beautiful. And so I went back and watched that again and went, oh my gosh, yes, they're right. That was a beautiful look that he gave her. So again, I just don't know that he could have, with all of that emotion, everything that went on in his story, what a rock she was for him. And I'm so glad. I hope this happens again. I hope we have more teams where, you know, the adoptive mom or dad or sister or brother or whomever goes with them. I loved that, seeing that family connection. So yay for Team Red.
And you know what I love about it too is I think sometimes people think you can only have one or the other.
Yes.
Like you have to choose between your adoptive family or your biological family.
Yes.
And it's not the case usually. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, there's love for everybody, and
exactly
you can meet this mom without diminishing the relationship you have with this mom.
Exactly. If things are handled in the correct way and a mature nature and that, and just with love for the child. Yeah, absolutely. That was beautiful. And then we get to, let's see, we did. Pretty sure I didn't miss anybody. Then we get to
lost count.
I lost count. Then we get to Nolan. Oh my goodness. Did you see what she was wearing when she came down to meet him?
The shirt.
The shirt. I saw that shirt. I went, oh, that's mom. The shirt. That was beautiful. And the hug again. It's just like all of them, those, because I knew that was the last relative. Yeah. But each of them met somebody that was so important to them. And yeah, somebody that they were hoping to find. I mean, John knew he wasn't going to be able to meet his biological mom. So I think having another sibling, especially that one that looked so much like him, was so comforting. But for Nolan to meet his biological mom, Laura?
I just loved how they did it, because I think for Nolan, meeting everybody else beforehand, and he found out that his mom had all these regrets and she was really afraid and stuff. So it let him approach that
Yes.
in a very reassuring way. But where John's story, I don't think it would have been the same story if they made him wait till day 9 to meet his dad.
No,
because it was meeting his dad that allowed him to give answers to his brother.
Absolutely.
So I love the way they timed it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, with Carolyn, she met her dad on day 8, you know, so she was able to do that. So she had a wonderful story as well. So
and I would have mentioned last week with Control, like I don't know how Relative Race knew what order to introduce him to family members, but it was perfect.
It was perfect. He wasn't ready before.
It just aligned. Yeah, it really aligned. And to meet grandma or mom's mom, you know, right before, where she kind of had some tough love. I just thought the order they did that was
exactly
amazing.
Yeah,
she was willing to take the anger.
Take all that anger.
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting because Control's got no anger. He's got no anger. He's just full of love for her, you know, and Leah's full of love. I think he was raised saying, we love your birth family.
Yeah.
We don't know the whole story, but we love them. We love you. We love them. And maybe one day you'll be able to meet them. You get that vibe, you know, that they had talked about that before. So
just so great.
Yeah, which is really, really great, because they really didn't know the story. All they knew was she gave him up for adoption and that he had a brother. That's all. They only knew about one brother and he had all those brothers. But I would like to really, and her name was Angie, wasn't it? I would really like to say that was the bravest thing I think I've ever seen on Relative Race, is her saying,
for sure,
yes, I was down in spirit. I was down financially, you know, emotionally, everything. And that's all she really needed to say. But she says, that is not why I gave you up for adoption. And I thought, you know. I know. And for her to be so honest and say, you know, I was with 2 different men. I was in love with one. And the one I was in love with was not the father. And I didn't know what to do. I wanted that love, and I just didn't know how to choose you. And I just thought, that's so honest and so raw, because that happens, you know, it happens when people are in places where they're, you know, wherever their circumstances are. Sometimes addictions, love, anything, they have a hard time choosing the child. And so she was afraid if she told him that he would reject her. And of course,
she couldn't have been too afraid. I mean, she had the courage to do it.
Yeah.
But maybe she knew she didn't want to have I think she even said it. She didn't want to have a relationship that wasn't real.
Yeah.
That was based
exactly
on
what she said.
That it was based on some story she'd made up.
Exactly.
Or exaggerated or what have you.
Yeah. And then
but it does explain why she was so regretful.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But he just gave her a hug and said, there's no judgment. I love you. It's okay. You know, I had a great life. And you could see that she felt so good about him saying, you know, I loved my family. I was welcomed. I felt like I belonged. You know, they took care of me. I had great friends. And so that's got to feel so good when you know that your child has had a great life, when you worried about them for so many years, that they've had this great life. And that doesn't mean, oh, I didn't need you, I had a great life. That's not what he was saying to her. He was saying your choice, what you chose to do, although you have felt guilty about it for all these years, turned out really the best choice for me. And so I think that really is going to help her heal too.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to help her heal. So anyway, just wonderful. What a wonderful, just,
Yeah.
episode.
All four teams had, a wonderful day.
Yeah. Yeah. A wonderful day. A wonderful, just loving day. None of them came out of day 9 with anxiety and still angst.
Our second cousin.
Or a second, as Dan would say, a second cousin 3 times removed, or whatever he usually says. So, and I just want everybody to notice that Eowyn is here and Dan is not here. And as Dan likes to say, they're the same person. They're not. Dan is out with his
We are the same person.
You are the same person.
Thank you for clarifying that.
I just wanted everybody to know they are not the same person, no matter what Dan says. Let's.
If Dan was here, he would say, no matter
even
what.
Though you're both on the screen, he would say you were the same person. Oh, that's too funny. So let's get to the results. So whoever comes in first gets 2 tickets to go visit their family. So that's really cool. They can go anywhere they want to.
Well, Thaddeus doesn't need it because apparently he lives close to
everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe he can go on a trip with a family. Maybe he can thank Taryn by taking her on a trip somewhere.
There you go. Because I mean, Georgia, you're going to fly through Atlanta anyway.
Yeah.
This is true. And so we know whatever happens that Team Blue is going to make it to day 10. So and like Eowyn said, they had Team Black there on the call at the end, which was so special for them to be able to introduce Tia's sister and for them to be able to see who everybody else had met. It was just beautiful. I really thought that was so special. So I just, like we said earlier,
and it just seems so much less cruel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the first few seasons, they just had to pack up and go home. Remember?
That first season was so brutal. Like, wouldn't even let them stay overnight. It's like, you lost, you're out of here.
You're out. Yeah, exactly.
That was crazy. My husband and I watched that one and we were like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Right now.
It just makes it. And you know what I think would be great is if they showed up on day 10 helping out with one of the challenges.
I thought so too.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? That'd be great. Anyway, so let's get to the results. Anybody want to? Who would like to? Results.
Well,
who was number 1, Mary?
Oh yeah, we had Team Blue only had 1 strike.
Yep.
And Team Green and Team Red each had 2. So it was either going to be 2 teams or 3 teams.
Yes.
On the finale, depending upon what happened. And Team Blue was 3rd, but just by a minute.
Literally by a minute.
Yeah. And I still can't figure out how Team Red, they mustn't have sat in that car as long as it looked, because there's no.
They stopped their clock.
Oh,
they stopped the clock as soon as they parked the car.
Once they got in the parking lot. You're right. You're right. Absolutely. You're right. Yeah. So, but yeah, so Team Red comes in first place. Yeah. And of course he had all that family to scream. It was so cute and to celebrate. And then of course Team Green came in second, and then Team Blue. So all 3 teams are going to the finale, which is in Georgia. So Forsyth, Georgia. So again, Team Red.
What was it? Was like Forsyth? What was it?
Yeah, Forsyth, I think.
Yeah. So I haven't done any searching to see where, perhaps if there's some place in Forsyth where they might be going. I don't know what type of challenge, because I can't even say who I think might win it, because I don't know. Is it going to be a mental challenge? Is it going to be a physical challenge? Is it going to be, I don't know.
There's a gun club and shooting school. There is an aquarium. There's a bunch of churches.
So there's got to be something there that they could make it to a place to have the challenge. So, but yeah, so we can't even say, well, this team's going to win because they've got brute strength, or this team is going to.
I totally judged Team Red. Like the first week, I was like, no, they're not going to do very good in these challenges. Like she's of an older age. No offense. But then
you better say that. No offense.
Not your ages, other ages, and they did super great. And a lot of them. So
Yeah.
I can't even like discount, even if it's more physical, they still
This is true.
did great on that. And so
Yeah.
I couldn't guess.
Yeah. This is going to be so much fun. I love it when 3 teams go.
Do we want it to be Team Blue since Team Blue has never won?
That's right. Team Blue.
Really? Team Blue has never won?
No,
No, they've never won. So our hearts are with all of them, but a little towards Team
Maybe a
Blue.
little
So
more.
they can, because this has been the history-making season.
That's true.
Oh, Team Blue's got that going for them, right? It's the history-making season. No offense to the other teams. It's just that would be so fun, because isn't that weird that Team Blue has never won? They could break the mold in so many ways. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. We also need to remind our fans. They're so sweet. You guys, the comments are wonderful when we put it on Facebook and on YouTube and all that. And we appreciate you. We will, after day 10, usually we would have the team reunion the next day, but it's Memorial Day. And so most of us are not going to be in town. And we had that issue last year when they ended the Sunday before Memorial Day and the teams weren't going to be in town. So what I've done is I've invited them to come the week after. So we won't have GenFriends come out the week after day 10, but we'll do it the week after that, the Monday after that, and record and hopefully get a team reunion. So teams, if you're watching, get that on your calendar and I'll be contacting you to see if you want to come on and have a team reunion and tell us your side of the story. Of all these.
Yeah, we have lots of questions.
We have lots of questions. We have lots and lots of questions. And so we would love to have you all together. So anyway, is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you wanted to mention on day 9? It was such a
Just again, I just want to thank the teams for being willing to be so open and just share this intimate moments of their lives.
Exactly. On camera.
It's very, very brave.
In front of the world to see. So yeah, it was a beautiful ending. I think it was a beautiful ending where we got to see all 4 teams like that. So kudos, Relative Race. Kudos, you do it. You're better every season. It gets better.
They really, like props seriously for just adapting and changing and growing. Like just really like getting down to the heart of what the show is about and focusing on that.
Exactly. Still making it fun, but focusing on that. So with that, we will say goodbye. Unless somebody else, Laura, did you want to say something? Were you waving your hand? Or are you just saying goodbye? You're saying goodbye. I got to get in wedding mode, people.
Sorry about that phone call. That was the groom.
The groom call. That is so funny. Well, we wish you all the best with the wedding. We wish him well, and we will see you next time in 2 weeks, and hopefully have our season
crowd.
Season 11.
We'll have a crowd.
Hopefully we'll have a crowd and be able to have a season 11 reunion. So with that, we'd like to say thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for your questions and supporting us and telling us you miss people when they're not here, because they do. And so that's really nice of you. We appreciate that. So we'll see you next time on GenFriends. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.